What's good, y'all? I want to come on here and talk about nuclear bombs. We've got a lot of World War III talk out there. Well, it's kind of passed a little bit, but during all the Russia-Ukraine stuff, it was all World War III, World War III. All the conservative commentators are talking, we're already in World War III. People have been talking about nukes a lot lately, and, you know, is Russia going to nuke Ukraine? Is the United States going to nuke Russia? Does Kim Jong-un have nukes? Is China going to use nuclear weapons? Iran has a nuclear program. All that stuff. Well, I'm just going to be totally honest with y'all. I don't think nukes exist. Well, I think they exist. I think nuclear power exists. I think nuclear radiation exists. But I don't think in the way they're described, nuclear bombs exist. You know, you go back to Nagasaki, Japan, Hiroshima. Those two cities, you know, we allegedly dropped the 2 atomic bombs on them in 1945. You know, and the bombs were called Fat Boy and Little Man, Fat Man and Little Boy, one of the two. That's a kind of a weird name, but okay. And I find it very interesting that out of all the cities that the Allies destroyed in Japan, with Tokyo being the most heavily damaged out of all the cities, Nagasaki and Hiroshima weren't even in the top 5 most destroyed cities after we apparently nuked them. Okay then. You know, they said, they say nuclear fallout. The water's going to be tainted. All the flora and fauna is going to be tainted for 100 million years or whatever they say. That's bullshit. The flora and the fauna, all the plants and animals are perfectly fine in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And another interesting thing is when it was reported on, after we dropped the bombs, which we did drop bombs. I do believe we did drop bombs. I just don't believe they were nuclear. The reporting that was coming out of Japan was that the cities had been firebombed, like all the other cities that had been firebombed. You know, don't get me wrong, these massively destructive bombs. They'll wipe out a whole fucking city, you know, it's not a joke. But the nuclear fallout stuff, nuclear winter, that's a fear tactic. There's no fallout. Not too long ago, maybe in the past 2 years, I want to say, Neil deGrasse Tyson, you know, that NASA scientist guy, allegedly a scientist, whatever you want to call him. He was on, I think it was on Bill Maher's show, and he accidentally let it slip that there's no nuclear fallout from a nuclear bomb. And y'all can go look up that clip. It should be still on YouTube. Or if it's not on YouTube, go find it on Rumble or something, because it's out there somewhere. But, and then he called himself real quick, and he was like, oh, well, we still have hydrogen bombs, and those are pretty powerful. He diverted. And Bill Maher was like, he was very shocked that he said there was no nuclear radiation. And that's something I've known for a long time. I don't believe there is nuclear fallout. I think that's a scam. I think they made up that lie so you think that one man with one push of one button could end the whole world. You know, nuclear winter. Nothing will ever grow again. The sun will get blocked out from the ash. All that bullshit. That's not real, in my opinion. In my humble opinion. There was this guy, his name was Galen Windsor. Sorry, I was going over a pothole. Galen Windsor was his name. He was the head nuclear engineer for GE, General Electric, during, I believe it was through the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and then he retired. During his time there, the 3 Mile Island incident happened. And that's what woke him up, because he got to see the inside of all that, the inside of that operation. That was a total op. That was a planned demolition. They wanted to get rid of the island anyway. Around that same time, they were making films and movies about nuclear disasters, and then they blow that up. Damn. Come on, Kentucky, fix the fucking roads. Fucking the train's gone, man. I lost that train. What the fuck was I talking about? Yeah, 3 Mile Island. So that was, I believe that was a ploy probably thought up by the oil industry, because nuclear power was taking off pretty well, and as y'all know, nuclear power basically gives off no emissions, is crazy cheap, and is super safe. It's the best form of energy out there. And that nuclear energy, that's a threat. That's why the Democrats, I mean, or the Republicans, honestly, that's why they don't support nuclear energy. They're all about electric cars and lithium batteries and all this stuff that's actually horrible for the environment. But for whatever reason, they don't like nuclear power, and they say it's too dangerous. Well, I think that's why incidents like 3 Mile Island happened, is to get that in people's head, like, oh no, we don't want a nuclear plant in our town, hell no. If that's going to happen, no, we're good, no. But, so he saw that for what it was, got out of the industry, realized that he didn't quite know what he was working on anymore. So I still believe in nuclear power. So nuclear power, all it is uranium rods. Uranium is a very powerful element that gets really hot and stays hot for, I mean, I don't know the exact length of time, but them fuckers stay hot for a long time. You basically got a bunch of them boiling water, and that boiling water spins a turbine, and you know, that's all the steam, the power plants, all the smoke coming out, that's steam, that's water vapor. It ain't pollution, that's water vapor. So I think nuclear power still exists. I'm just talking about nuclear fallout, nuclear radiation. All radiation is energy spreading, light spreading. You know, the sun is radiation. But anyway, I'm getting off track. This guy, Galen Windsor from GE, head nuclear engineer, really fucking smart guy. Through the 80s, he started giving lectures. He made videos, he did college courses, all kinds of things like that. You can go on maybe YouTube, but definitely on BitChute and Rumble. You can go look him up, watch his lectures from the 80s. For years, every day in, day out, years at a time, this man was eating raw uranium to prove that it wasn't dangerous. And in one of his lectures, he took a, what's it called? The thing that measures the radiation, the gigameter, or y'all know what I'm talking about. The thing that clicks when you get close to something that's radioactive. And he had a rock of uranium, like about that big, and then he had a bottle of no-dose. And if y'all don't know what no-dose is, it's those little caffeine pills they sell at gas stations. It's supposed to keep you awake, I guess. I don't know, I don't take them. But he put the radiator, the measuring device on the no-dose, and that thing was going crazy, super radioactive. And he did it on the uranium, and it was way less. So I don't think, I think, and another reason I think they made uranium sound so scary is because that's where helium comes from. Look it up. Helium comes from uranium. And helium is what was used to power airships. And if y'all don't know about airships, look into them. Basically big Zeppelins that could stay up for days at a time, go crazy far without using any fuel. Crazy safe. And that was a big threat to the oil industry. So they did the Hindenburg. Y'all can look up the video of the Hindenburg, where they had this big airship blow up, and then that's supposedly the reason they canceled. They stopped making airships. They outlawed them. Is because of the Hindenburg accident. And I find it funny that I think that was in the 30s or maybe 20s. that I find it very funny that when this airship exploded, they just happened, you know, this is way back in the day before everybody had a camera in their pocket. They just happened to have a camera on this airship that was going to explode. That's weird. That's a red flag. But so I don't think uranium is that dangerous. I actually have a buddy who's also a trucker, and he got pulled over at a way station. I think it was in Nevada or maybe Utah, one of them western states. But they at the way station, they pulled him off because they said his trailer was giving off radiation, and they needed to check it out. They were asking him, like, you hauling nuclear waste or something, like something that needs placards, like what are you hauling? And he was hauling porcelain for toilets and stuff, like raw porcelain. And this, you know, the radiation coming off this porcelain is super radioactive, if y'all didn't know. So the radiation was coming off this thing crazy, so they thought he had uranium or nuclear waste or something. So they pulled him, they checked his trailer, realized it was porcelain, and they let him go. And he said, well, but he told him, he's like, but this is radioactive and I'm driving it, don't I need to, like, decontaminate it or something? And they're like, nope, have a good day. So some radioactive material is okay, but others are not okay. Okay, that's a little fishy. I think don't get me wrong, I think there's really big bombs. I think there's hydrogen bombs. I think there's MOABs. I think there's stuff we don't even know about, directed energy weapons. I think there's technology where they can use high frequencies to vibrate things and bring buildings down, you know, maybe 2 large towers. Y'all catch my drift. But nuclear bombs with nuclear fallout, the nuclear holocaust, I think that's bullshit. Man, I was past the dude getting searched by the police. Man, glad it ain't me. But anyway, y'all get to know me. I get sidetracked easily. I go off on tangents. I start running my mouth about stuff I don't even know. But this I do know. So we're gonna talk about this. But I think the main reason they started this lie, well, it's in the Cold War. Well, before the Cold War, but I think it really escalated in the Cold War. Because they needed fear. They needed Russians to be scared of the U.S. They needed U.S. to be scared of the Russians. You know, your government will protect you, all that. And they can't get rid of it now. You know, Putin, Trump, they know that nuclear bombs aren't real. There's no, you know, Trump knows a lot of things. He's made offhand remarks, very subtle remarks that nobody's been to space, you know, talking about Elon's rockets that go to nowhere. Yeah, I caught that, Donald. I caught that, Mr. Trump. It ain't just you. I know what you're talking. I catch your drift. But, so they know, but they, you know, they can't just come out and tell the world. I mean, we've been to war over that stuff. You know, Cuban Missile Crisis. If there was no nuclear bombs, then what was the Cuban Missile Crisis about? What was the Bay of Pigs for? What was the whole Cold War for? Because if they let the secret slip that nukes aren't real, well, then the Cold War was just an economic competition. That's all it was. It was like Pepsi and Coke running off each other, making money for both sides. So I think they're kind of caught in a place where I think Trump and Putin, because I like Putin, y'all. I mean, I'm a big fan of Putin. And I think he probably would want to let the secret out, but there's really no, I mean, you can't blame him. There ain't no easy way to do that. I mean, this is a lie that's been perpetuated for 80 years? What? 80, 90 years? A long fucking time. And you can't just tell people that stuff. Like, a lot of people can't even handle the fact that vaccines... No, I can't talk about vaccines. I'm on YouTube. a lot of people can't even handle the fact that certain medical experiments might not be safe. So how do you think they would react if you told them that nukes weren't real? So I get it. And you know, another thing I think is I wouldn't put it past the deep state, the cabal, the other side, whatever you want to call them. I wouldn't put it past them to try to fake a nuke. It wouldn't be that hard. All they need is a really big bomb. And I think there's ways to fake radiation poisoning. And I think the main reason is another thing I can't really talk about on YouTube, but those towers that they put up every fucking 200 feet in cities, those big towers that devices connect to, and not radio towers, the other ones, you know, all that. I know multiple people that work in the industry putting up towers, and those towers, they have ranges that they don't use, but they could use. Because they find it very odd that these towers that will remain nameless have frequencies, very high frequencies that are basically military grade that could be used, but they aren't currently used. But I think that's how they would fake something like nuclear radiation. You know, it ain't nothing to be scared of. You know, well, don't fear nothing on the TV. They're gonna try to scare you. You know, Putin's gonna do this. And, you know, they've been using fear tactics for a long time. Like Chernobyl, that was bullshit. I'm not exactly sure what happened in Chernobyl, but there wasn't no nuclear fallout. You know, you see these fake videos online of, you know, these three-legged deers and all these like crazy animals that supposedly live in Chernobyl. You look into that stuff and it's fake as shit. I mean, you can go watch videos of people swimming. There's a lot of videos of Russians doing it, but there's one video of an American traveler doing it, swimming in the old cooling pools at Chernobyl, just going underwater and everything, putting the water in their mouths, all that stuff. It ain't dangerous. You know, not to mention, when they evacuated Chernobyl, there was whole villages of people that didn't leave. Some of those people still live there. They'll tell you, there was no fallout. No, the plants and animals didn't die. I mean, could it have been a plant? I mean, now it's literally a nature preserve. And now it's either Nagasaki or Hiroshima. It's a tourist site. But I mean, I thought it was supposed to be radioactive for 100 million years or whatever. But it's a tourist site. And like the same year they got bombed, people were still harvesting their vegetation and selling it at farm stands in those cities. I mean, I don't know. I'm not telling y'all what to think, but I'll tell you what I think. I don't think that's real. I think they do a lot of things for land grabs. Like, all this land's poison, everybody's got to evacuate it, and then the big dogs come in and buy up that land for pennies on the dollar. I've been watching, what's that place called? East Palestine, Ohio? I've been watching that, because I think that's what's happening there. Because I know y'all don't want to hear this, it's always the government's fault. They handled that correctly. That was the right protocol to get rid of the spill. Vinyl chloride, I think it was. That's I looked into that right after that happened. That's the protocol. Because all that smoke y'all saw, the mushroom cloud, that wasn't from a chemical reaction. That was from them burning off the excess materials, which was the correct thing to do. Yeah, it's going to pollute the air, but not any more than a poorly ran factory would, DuPont or something. You don't even hear about that shit anymore. I mean, you don't even hear about it. But I And in Ohio, they've been talking about they want to build that big microchip factory in Ohio. So I've been watching to see, you know, it's just kind of a theory I have. If they end up doing it, then y'all know I'm right. But if they put that chip facility somewhere near East Palestine, Ohio, then I was right on the land grab. They're evacuating all these people, telling them they got to move out of their houses, telling them the food's poisoned, the ground soil's poisoned, the water's poisoned. And then these corporations come in and buy the land, buy the properties for pennies on the dollar. It happens over and over again throughout history in every country. You know, y'all saw all the videos of the dead fish in the streams. I grew up playing in creeks, y'all. Every spring there's dead fish in the creeks. Early spring, you know, right around that time that happened, the creeks are full of dead fish. Look into it. The water, if you're in a place that gets cold, like northeastern Ohio, over the winter, the creeks freeze. Them fish freeze where they're at. You gotta understand, some of these fish, like salmon and stuff, they go through water sometimes. It's this thin. Like, some of the parts of these creeks and watersheds are, you know, the water's a couple inches deep at certain points. And these fish, they'll get stuck. They'll get stuck in the muck or stuck somewhere and they'll freeze. And then in the spring, when it thaws out, you got all these dead fish floating down the stream in the creek. I've seen it a million times every year. That's when I've seen these videos of these you know, people on TikTok using a net and getting all the dead fish out of the stream. I'm like, have y'all never been in a creek before? This always happens every year. And I mean, unless you're down south somewhere where it don't get super cold, then yeah, I mean, that ain't gonna happen. But up north, northern Ohio, yeah. But I'm ranting now. I'm just talking. That's all I gotta say. I don't think nuclear fallout is real. I do think there are very large bombs and technology we don't know about that could kill every single one of us. So I'm not saying there ain't nothing to worry about. But I'm just saying the nuclear scam, you know, the mean Mr. Putin can push a button and end the world. That's all nonsense. Get that out of your head. Leave a comment. Tell me how you feel. Or don't. If you're going to run your mouth, don't even talk because I won't read it. Y'all have a good day. Stay safe out there. Stay up. God bless.